What's your haul for the day?
10, 11, 12.
12?
We can only keep 3.
How are we gonna decide?
Jesus, I don't know, but this is crazy back here.
Past this boat here. Came in and anchored this morning. We're trying to figure out what they're
It's a good thing they didn't jack our crab pot. They would have got the mother load.
I thought that that's what they were doing at first.
Yeah, Bev.
I told Ben, get out of bed. Somebody's pulling up the crab pot.
I can't believe this. We're gonna run out of propane from boiling fucking water.
Yeah, no kidding. Crab cakes for life.
Crab cakes for life. We just got done cracking all our crabs from the last 2 days. And we're anchored in. East Sokolov Island is really exposed. The town of Wrangell's off there in the distance. You can see that Coast Guard ship heading there. Our second most satisfying part of this project, which is taking the tape off. I think sanding them is the most satisfying because you get to see what the old wood looks like under its weathered surface. So yeah, here we go.
Now we're headed to Petersburg through Wrangell Narrows. Another beautiful sunshine, blue sky day. We had to time the currents this morning to make it through. So we have until 2:30 p.m. today. That is high slack tide to get to Petersburg. So there's a pretty good current that runs through the Petersburg marinas, so we don't want to show up at the marinas if it's not slack tide and try to navigate getting into a slip with a current pushing us one way or the other in and out. So I'm trying to time it to be there at 2:30, but there's a cruising sailboat behind us and a cruising powerboat in front of us, so that's a good sign. That means that we timed something right. Everybody's all going at the same time, so this might be the first cruising sailboat that we've seen in like, I don't know, forever, since we left the Puget Sound. Pretty cool. Nice day though.
Okay, well, it's almost May.
May 1 tomorrow.
May 1 tomorrow.
May Day!
It's been like 60 degrees today. Just beautiful.
It's gonna rain tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be really crummy weather for the next 4 or 5 days. So I figured since the sun was shining, I would work on this thing, being our old school manual bilge pump. This is a Henderson Mark V universal mounting bilge pump. So this is where it mounts in the little shop space. Here's our cockpit. You pump it right down here. So we had some water in the bilge a little while back when the bilge pump started backflowing, and we used this and it worked, but it was leaking, and I could see that it was leaking. So it's been in the back of my mind a little bit, like another one of those boat projects. You just know, like, oh, that thing's not working perfect. The likelihood that you're ever really gonna need a manual bilge pump anymore is like not high. Your battery power, generator power, backup engine battery power, all these things. But when it comes down to it, having a functional manual bilge pump that can really push some water is like, you don't want it to not work. We have a secondary one in the bow of the boat, so it's not like we would be, that one works perfectly fine. But you can see this one. I'll pull it out, see if you can see. Look at that diaphragm. That's not good. We'll take this handy dandy gigantic crescent wrench, pop this off, put a new diaphragm on, because of course we have a couple of extra of those on the boat, thanks to the provisionist. Good stuff. So on our boat, we have a map of where everything is, and you just consult the map person.
What are you looking for?
And then she says, "What are you looking for?" And I say, "I need the shitter's full bag." And then she tells me it's in the V-berth. So you go find the shitter's full bag. This is where all your accoutrements are. Diaphragms, rubber things, O-rings to fix toilets, bilge pumps, everything that's gross and nasty. And you get yourself a fresh replacement diaphragm for your bilge pump. There's the old one. There's another new one right there. So I'll go install this and we'll have a functional bilge pump and problem solved. And then we'll put it on the spreadsheet that we have to get another one of these, and we'll order it, and then we'll have another one. Pretty simple. Okay, well, pretty simple. I've got a bucket of fresh marina seawater. I'll take my little end of hose here. See if we can pump it out without hemorrhaging out of the bottom of a broken diaphragm. Ruptured might be the term. Okay, well, that works fine. No leaking out of here, which is where I was leaking from before. And really that ripped diaphragm, I'll go get it. So, there's the rip. For that large of a size of tear, it really wasn't like hemorrhaging water into here. It was still pumping. And you could see it coming out the bilge on the back of the boat. It takes a minute to get it primed. Especially when it's hooked to the, you know, pulling all the way down to the bottom of the boat, because it's, you know, the pump is in the cockpit, so it's every bit of 5 feet above the bilge. I just hooked up this short hose to it so that I wasn't pumping any water out of our bilge or having to pour water into the bilge and then pump from that hose. Obviously the water I poured in there would be clean, but the bilge has, every time you change the oil, you drip a little bit down there, and one drip of oil makes it look like the Exxon Valdez. And I'm gonna take this little stub piece of hose off that I put on, put the old hose, hook it back up here, and we'll be back in business. Just another one of those little things you notice, and you have to almost write it down on something so that you remember it, or remember that it's on the to-do list. Simple project. I've only been tinkering around on this for an hour. It's one of those things. No reason to let it go. No reason not to fix it. No reason to let it be broken. Just like that, back in action.
What's that look like? Looks good?
Super simple bilge pumps. Just a diaphragm pump, you know, just a plunger and a diaphragm. Couldn't get more simple. And I would advise keeping these things in noble working operating order, because why not? It's like, you know, they're so simple. You've got eight nuts, 4 on each side. You have an inspection plate here that has an O-ring. Sorry, I just pumped a bunch of water out of there. So there's an O-ring there. And they don't leak. You know how they don't leak? When you take the inspection cap off and you just pump water through them and a bunch pukes out. It's like 1/3 of a gallon of water. So now I have that to clean up. Stop me. Come here. No, come here, Bev. Come here. Come on. Everybody's going downstairs. Work yourself right into a poop and scare all the dolphins away.